I can imagine Jesus at the end of a long day of teaching, healing, and perhaps encounters with the Jews, looking up to see children running toward him. The feelings of stress and tiredness evaporate. He notices their smiling faces and hears their laughter. He rebuffs the disciples' attempts to shoo them away, saying, "Let the children come to me. Don't prevent them." I imagine him wanting to submerge himself in their unconditional trust and love. Perhaps he thinks this is the perfect way to end a day, a perfect day. And thus he exclaims, "The kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." A characteristic of young children is their ability to stay in the present. As children gather around Jesus, they are not distracted or ruminating on what happened earlier or planning tomorrow's agenda. They have not come with doubts or needs. They are here to see Jesus with their whole being. Without analyzing, rationalizing, or consulting sacred text, they just know who he is. Maybe Jesus heard his father say, "What a delightful affirmation of you." They get it. Keep up the good work, son. In the words, "The kingdom of heaven belong to such as these," I hear an invitation. How might my life change if I spend more time in the present, sitting with Jesus, rather than worrying about the things of this world? How might my day be different if I start the morning by approaching God with joy and gratitude, a sense of wonder and trust that miracles will happen today? Would it be easier to find God in all things, even in the places where I don't want to look? I've read that children during Jesus' time had few, if any, rights. Even today, despite laws that seek to protect them, it's often the youngest members of society who suffer the most. In today's reading, I hear Jesus calling adults like you and me to help children run to him. This awareness pricks my conscience, leading me to ask myself several questions. How do I help children to see Jesus? What injustice or injustices am I choosing to ignore, perhaps because they seem too big to tackle? What might change if I sit with Jesus, asking him to help me see what is possible at this time and within this concrete circumstances of my life? Another characteristic of small children is that the word impossible is not part of their vocabulary. The big empty box transforms into the fastest race car ever, or the rocket that flies to the moon in just minutes. They might not know who St. Ignatius is, but they instinctively take his advice to dream big. One big dream I have is that more adults will read and follow the advice offered by Robert Fulghum in his book, Everything I Really Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. For example, share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Say you're sorry when you hurt somebody. Live a balanced life. Learn some and think some and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work every day, at least some. One lesson that I take away from this short reading is that the disposition of a small child can break down the barriers that I cling to, which keeps me from seeing the daily manifestations of God's surprises. So just for today, I resolve to learn some and think some, draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work some. What about you? How will you spend the day? Amen.